Snorkeling is the sport of swimming with a snorkel and face mask. It's pretty simple. Snorkeling was one of my favorite things to do. In fact, at one point in my life, it was actually my job in Hawaii. The experience is incredible, and I would recommend it to anyone. Snorkeling can be very intimidating to some people, and to others, it can be second nature. I wish to inform you all on how to properly snorkel and follow the rules of the ocean. It has been said, he who is a slave to the compass has the freedom of the seas. I can't effectively enlighten everyone on how to use all the regulations and rules concerning the oceans. I myself don't know them all. So I just want to focus on the common ones concerning snorkeling in Hawaii. Most of these are common sense rules and don't actually have repercussions to them, but they're mostly just good practice. The first and foremost of these rules would be to always snorkel with a partner. Never attempt to brave the ocean by yourself. It's a very foolish endeavor, and many professional freedivers and people who snorkel for a living have gone down by themselves and ended up drowning. Also remember to respect the ocean. That's really big in Hawaii. It's something that a lot of state officials and Native Hawaiians really try to push a lot there. In fact, in Hawaii, there's serious fines and even jail time for damaging reefs or harassing turtles. And according to the Hawaiian Handbook of Ocean Practice, laws prohibit harassing, capturing, possession, or removing harming or killing sea turtles. Under state law, violations is a misdemeanor criminal offense and punishable by a fine up to $2,000 and or 30 days in jail. So it's huge out there if you mess with the ocean. Many Hawaiians and state officials take this very seriously. Once you know the rules, though, it's only a matter of getting into the water. And as easy as that sounds, it's actually a lot of prep work that goes into that. Snorkeling incursion. There's many variables to consider, such as location, time is also crucial, knowing your equipment. There's a ton of different prep work that you have to go into. It all affects your experience greatly. The biggest thing is that's overlooked the majority of the time is the fact that the ocean is constantly changing. You can go to a really good snorkeling spot one day, but the next day it'll be completely different and possibly dangerous to go there. So you have to consider the time of year, the time of day, the tide, where the wind is blowing, the weather, the wavelength. There's a whole bunch of different variables, but it all boils down to like you want a good, calm place to go. When selecting your equipment too, you also want to make sure it's a good fit. Diver doesn't want anything to slip off. And equipment varies. There's different kinds of flippers and different goggles, and each have its own advantage to each of them. Basically, you want to have the equipment that fits the type of snorkeling that you do. Like if you go free diving, you're going to want like longer flippers so you can less leg movement so you can dive deeper, because the more you move your legs and the more movement you have, the more oxygen you use up and the less time that you can spend underwater. So there's a ton of stuff to go over. Once the rules and location and prep work are all done, then comes the fun part, the actual snorkeling. Snorkeling in itself is very simple, but the part that gets most newcomers is placing your face into the water, and it's hard for people to trust the snorkel to breathe, because a lot of people, once you put your restrict breathing, they start to go a little bit crazy, and I had to experience a lot of different people that had trouble with that. At the beach, the snorkel will get his or her gear on, then proceed to walk backwards into the ocean, so not to trip over the flippers. Once in the water, the snorkeler will place his face in the water and begin to kick out with his flippers and breathe through the snorkel. Snorkeling can be as difficult or as advanced as you want to make it. A lot of people just scrape the surface of that and then just like stay at the surface of the water and like look on the ocean. But you can dive down, and there's actually a lot of different sports that you can get into involving snorkeling. A lot of people believe swimming and staying afloat would be more difficult, but it isn't that hard because the salt water in the ocean helps you float more. And having the snorkel there, it's almost difficult to drown because you can let go of your body and like just stay there, and the snorkel will be above the water, so you can just breathe and just float. Yeah, if you wanted to stay above the surface of the coral and the fish, yeah. The more advanced the snorkel becomes, the more he has to observe the procedures of snorkeling. It's not that difficult or dangerous as long as you follow the rules. Always check gear and conditions. Make sure the snorkel with a buddy and respect the ocean. As long as Ocean Legends, the company that I worked for, puts it, he says, love it, save it, and dive it.
Great. As we're transitioning to Zach, to Kayla, what are your thoughts? You're good, yeah, just leave it. She can get it. First thing I could say is whoever was fidgeting over there on the left side of the room, you've got to stop it because I was unbelievably distracted. After that note, thoughts? Stevie, you look prepared. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I personally thought your speech was really good because I don't know much about snorkeling, so it was really nice to hear all of that. I think that your information was really well given, and especially coming from, you're such a credible source, like that was your job. I felt like it was a little bit more interesting than just researching it on my own.
Good. Is that because you're from the driest state in America?
It is.
Got it. Good. Good. Is there any water actually in the state, or do you have to borrow it from some other?
We usually have to like beg California for it.
Perfect. Which is not good either, by the way, from what I understand. But a lot of begging there. Good. Thank you for your thoughts. Someone else. Kaylin and Mackenzie, you're usually my go-tos, and you've been both suspiciously quiet. Are you sick of carrying the group? Because that's generally what happens. Without a doubt, that's generally what happens, is that people are like, I say it every time. I'm going to let somebody else do it for once. Kaylin, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed your speech. I thought it was really interesting. There was times that there's some awkward pauses in between. I think that was just you catching like where you were at. But some of them were a little lengthy, so just watch that. But besides that, I thought it was very informative, and I was interested the whole entire time.
And don't refer to them. I think one time you had a pause and you said something even. So just try not to bring attention to it while you're kind of seeing where you were at. Part of that too is I don't know what you brought up there, but if you brought up what you gave me, and that was a manuscript rather than an outline, that's going to happen. So again, you need to wean yourself off of that, and don't give me, or and don't bring an outline up there. Bring up, or a manuscript. Bring up, something else. Anyone else? let me switch gears here.